What is up, my fellow friends? Just thought I'd stop in and give an update. Plus, I've been getting requests about an update, so I thought I'd take a moment just to give you guys an update on how everything is going. So, as of right now, I'm at the 2+ year mark of being away from the barber world. So, surprisingly, I haven't missed it, and that's kind of surprised myself. And I think the entire pandemic helped the situation because at the time when the initial, well, for me at that time, the initial shutdown and everything, I just kind of saw where COVID was headed, and I didn't really think with the first shutdown, I kind of felt like initially there would be a second shutdown. So financially, I was fine with the first shutdown, and then kind of blessed just to have a couple of things happen for me financially right during that time that kind of assisted, and where I wasn't really affected at all by the shutdown financially. Just perfect time and being blessed, with a couple of financial blessings right around that time just for things to work out and be unaffected where I wasn't forced to do anything that I really didn't want to do. So I can look back on everything now and say that it really was a blessing in disguise because for so much of my life, barbering was the biggest part of my life, but I can look back on it now and say that it actually was a crutch as well. Uh, I think for the most part of it, when I first got into the barber shop, not just cutting hair, but once I actually started in the barber shop and was doing that for a living, that I was so dependent on that and just glad to be away from what I considered the regular work world, or working for the man, as we would always say, uh, that I kind of used it as, even if I was working another job, I always worked between barbershop and kind of like in the group home field, managing group homes. Even did a little staffing coordinator stuff, transition coordinator, different stuff like that. So I always worked in the field. So at that time in the beginning, barbering was kind of the thing where I made more money doing that than on the regular job. But doing both of them was kind of the best of both worlds because I love working with people, and I have the heart to work with people with disabilities and all of that stuff. So I literally was doing the best of both worlds. Barbering became like the empowerment for me to not have to deal with crap on the job, so I could walk away from a job at any time without hesitating. So I always had the confidence to speak my mind, never feel like I was being held hostage or trapped in a situation, because I had the clippers and the barbershop to just say the hell with it and leave and go do what I do. So but like 2010, that was kind of when I walked away completely from the job side and just totally focused on barbering. So I, from that point, 2010, it was like an additional, 10 more years where I was just strictly barbershop and not doing anything with the job world. But when the pandemic came, I think the thing that really made me first look at things different, I can even go back to 2004. And if you followed me over the years, you kind of know I've told the story before about, when my dad died during the time of 2004. I had been having instincts telling me to do something different, and I ignored my instincts, because we have this thing where we can talk ourselves out of change, and a change can really be your blessing in disguise, but we can always find an excuse not to do something so we can talk ourselves out of it. So 2004, I've been having the instincts to make a change, do something different, but I just couldn't see the change. I felt I needed the change, but I just couldn't see it. So million excuses or whatever to ignore it and not do it. And a lot of it was just to spend time with family. Short story about the whole situation when my dad died was the week before that happened. The instincts were really hitting me rough. So I had made plans to take off at the barbershop like the next weekend coming up. And, the week before, I had set everything in motion to spend the next weekend with my dad them. And the Saturday of the day when I had got all my customers to agree to come through the next week, so I could spend that Saturday with my mom and dad. I got off early that day, and I was shocked that I was finished early, because I never actually got finished early. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go see my mom and dad. So from where my shop was at that time, it probably was about 30, 45 minutes or whatever. So I literally had made it within 4 miles of where my mom and dad stayed. But I was like, man, I'm tired. I'm going to just go home, give me something to eat, shower, rest, and I'll just go spend Sunday morning, all day Sunday with them. But went home Sunday morning, 5:39 a.m. My sister-in-law called me, and that was when my dad had been in a car wreck and got killed. So the first weekend that I had planned to spend the Saturday with them turned out to be for my dad's funeral. And I mentioned that because that was kind of the story of me not following my instincts, and I see the result of what happened. And from that point, my whole life just kind of changed from that point. So leading up to pre-pandemic and all of that, I was kind of having the same instincts about change. And so at this point, I'm fearful to ignore instincts. So I was having the same instincts, and then the next thing you know, the pandemic hits. So same thing about change. So I was like, well, this time I'm not even going to ignore them. So everything started going in motion. My wife and I came to St. Louis. I brought her to St. Louis for her birthday. So it was a couple scenarios that kind of played out of me just going with the flow and following instincts. Initially, my birthday plans with my wife was, just take off from the shop, and we were going to go to Tunica, Mississippi, to the casinos, spend her birthday weekend and everything down there or whatever. So I had already reserved the room and everything. And she talked on the phone with her son, who lives in St. Louis. And he was like, well, y'all could just come to St. Louis to the casino. I have, he goes to the casino all the time. So he had like the comp thing to get the free room and all of that stuff, and that way y'all don't even have to spend money on a room and everything. I can get the room and everything for you. You still at the casino. Now, normally I would probably just stick to the plans because I already had made the plans and I wouldn't change it. But there was just this ease feeling, and I was like, okay, that's fine. So I canceled the Mississippi thing, and we came to St. Louis. So had fun, everything, and on the ride back, when we travel, typically before we get on the road, going back, we always go to Huddle House or Waffle House, IHOP or something, literally before we get on the road. And We went to Waffle House. Then we were on our way back to Tennessee. And just on the way back, I just randomly look at my wife. I asked her, I said, if we could move to St. Louis, is this somewhere you want to stay? And she looked at me, her eyes and face lit up. She said, hell yeah. So this was February of 2020. You know, this pandemic hadn't officially hit at this point. So in my mind, at that point, we was going to St. Louis. Didn't know how it was going to happen, what was going to take place or whatever, but we start setting in motion. She started looking for a job. I started working on the house, you know, doing some stuff at the shop, you know, to potentially sell both of them. So end of February, she came on to St. Louis. She had gotten a job, started one job, quit that one because she found the one that was better, which is actually where we're both at now. And, you know, so she came February. I came back to St. Louis one more time, like at the end of April. And on the way back, you know, part of the excuse that I always would have was I didn't want to work a job because I could never make the money that I made cutting hair on a job. And mentally, I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So on my way back from visiting her in April, on the way back, I text my sister. You know, my sister's genius. I text her, you know, hey, if I send you my information for my resume, can you update it for me? So she was like, sure. So I sent her the information. So this was on a Monday evening. She told me I'll try to have it back by like Wednesday or Thursday, but she actually sent it back Tuesday. So Tuesday, I got it, applied for a job in St. Louis, which basically the same place that my wife was working at, and we both work now. So sent that in Tuesday. They called me Wednesday to set a phone interview up for Thursday. Did the phone interview that Thursday, and Friday they called me and offered me the job. So naturally, I told you money would always be the thing where I was like, no, I can't do it. So they called, and when she announced what the salary was right at what I make or made a year cutting hair. So that was like, okay, I don't have that excuse. It's like any excuse that I could come up with or could have came up with not to do it. It's like God literally just laid it out and eliminated those excuses. So now it's about, am I going to ignore my instincts in the past? So, you know, started following the instincts and did everything. Was trying to sell the house and everything. And all of a sudden, one of my customers from the barbershop needed a house or a place to stay. So it went from selling the house to now I have a renter for the house. That excuse was eliminated. And all of a sudden, from trying to sell the shop to I had a person that wanted to do a lease purchase for a year, you know, and after the year lease is up, purchase the shop. So that excuse was eliminated. Everything was out of the way. So came to St. Louis May 6th, started the job May 11th, worked on the job. I was in training the rest of May, the early part of June. So I really only did 1 month of the job, and I got promoted to the position that I'm in now. So not only when I first started, the salary matched pretty much perfectly to what I made at the barbershop. Now all of a sudden I got a promotion and in a situation where it's actually more. So literally had no excuses. Everything has been answered. The only bad thing about now is people literally do not want to work. So like, even if you go to a restaurant or something now and the people are taking longer than normal, hey, have some compassion. I mean, I don't work in food service or anything, but I am in the work world where a lot of the work world is shorthanded, and those people that are working there probably haven't had an off day in Lord knows when. I'm just now getting to the stage where I am going to be kind of relieved of some of the workload that I've had, you know, and so things are getting better where I'm should actually be back getting my off days like I'm supposed to, because I kind of was put in a situation, you know, especially for the last year for the most part, where I basically have to pick up the load of just being short staffed. So I've been stuck in a situation where I haven't really been able to do what my actual job is because I was filling in for, you know, being short staffed. So have some compassion for these people, because I'm part of the work world where, you know, if a certain situation or a certain work environment requires, you know, 20 people to actually make it function, a lot of these people are in situations where they literally only have maybe 4 or 5, you know, to cover the workload of 20. You know, I have a caseload of 4 homes. So my position is program supervisor, which is the position above that supervises the home managers of the group homes. 3 homes, perfectly good. Not really much that goes wrong. They all have managers, so the managers deal with most of the stuff. They need help with stuff. You know, I'm kind of the oversight to make sure the houses are running the way that they're supposed to. But one house could never keep a manager or staff. So I've always been stuck dealing with that house. And, you know, just recently it's came up to where, you know, I won't have to deal with that home anymore. So until I get the 4th home, I don't know what the 4th home will look like that'll be replacing that yet. But I don't see it being nearly as tough as it was to deal with that one. So, hey, have some compassion for these people, man, at these different places that you go, because it's definitely something going on. The people that are actually there at work, those are the people that really want to work, and they're having to carry the workload of the people that choose not to work, because there's a lot of healthy people out here that literally choose not to work. I literally see it in real time where people are being offered jobs, accept the job, and don't show up for the training. So a lot of the people are really just applying for jobs, I guess maybe drawing unemployment or something, and you have to show that you've actually been attempting to get a job. So it's almost like, you know, hiring people, you're basically calling their bluff. And, you know, it just amazes me. So just having free time, and I haven't really did the YouTube videos mainly because everything that I've done from this point, I'm following a natural process, and I'm literally being led to every move that I need to make. So I don't have preconceived ideas of I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm literally following life where life leads me, and it's a natural process. So just kind of a natural instinctive thing was to do this video today, leading up the last few weeks or whatever. I've started back buying some new products, or new to me, so you'll probably have already seen review videos on some of the stuff that I will have coming down the pike. But I was literally waiting on the moment when it hit me naturally to do it, as opposed to just saying I'm gonna do it. So I do have some stuff that'll come, and you will be seeing me back on YouTube. Occasion more so product reviews, advisory type things, mentorship and stuff like that. Occasional haircut tutorials or whatever. I haven't really gotten into doing any haircutting since I've been here, because it takes up way too much of your time. So I can't put myself back in that situation. I'm, currently trying to get out of the scenario of having to work so much, which is on the horizon, and I can't replace that. So, just trying to be in a normal situation, spend quality time with family, take road trips, do all of these things. I've been able to do a little bit of it, so that's been the upside of the job, just being able to take PTO and get paid and be off, and not have to worry about working myself like a slave the day before, just to try and get all my customers in. So I think the main reason why I haven't really missed it is just because of the stupidity that we deal with when it comes to that 5 or 10% of the customers that just never will get it. But other than that, guys, everything's going great. I still have been making an asserted effort to respond to every comment and everything on my video, even though I haven't really been uploading the videos. So this one, I'm at 22 minutes and 8 seconds right now. So if you're still here at this point, much love from your boy Ron Legend. I appreciate you guys. You will be seeing me back at it real soon, possibly in the next week or two. So until then, guys, peace and love. Ron Legend, St. Louis.